Alright guys, what is up and welcome back to another episode of Nwadei MMA, your daily series where I give you my thoughts, but more importantly ask for you guys' thoughts because you guys are the MMA community and the community is just so fast moving nowadays. So welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the UFC predictions side of the channel. We're going to be talking about Ciryl Gane versus Sergey Spivak and if Ciryl Gane is ready for another wrestling challenge this early after his Jon Jones defeat. So guys, thank you for stopping by my channel. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment, and let's get right into the video. So if you guys remember how I like to break down these fights, I like to talk about each fighter's style based off of their past fights, go into their keys to victory for each fighter in order to win the fight, and then I like to give you my official prediction at the end of the fight. This one's going to be a little bit quicker, guys. First thing I want to do is get into the semantics a little bit behind this fight. Ciryl Gane is taking another wrestler in his hometown or home country of France after his last loss to Jon Jones. Now, a lot of people were disappointed in him. They said he didn't show up in the moment. They said he can't grapple. And I guess we're going to figure out all of that. Guys, we got to remember, Ciryl Gane is a growing martial artist, right? He's not yet perfected his style. Even though he seemed flawless at times, even though he seemed like the newest and best thing that we've seen in the MMA heavyweight division, he is all of that, but he's still developing. And this is part of his development process, and this is part of what we've been wanting to see him fight even before he fought for the title. We've been wanting to see him fight against a grappler. We've been wanting to test his MMA IQ, not just his striking IQ, not going against brawlers like Derrick Lewis and Tai Tuivasa, whom he picked apart, but going against a grappler, right? Since we saw that loss to Francis Ngannou, everyone's had their questions, and it almost got a little bit more solidified in the Jon Jones defeat, right? So, talking about Ciryl Gane's style and how he matches up with Sergey Spivak. Well, Ciryl Gane, he likes to flow on the outside. We know that he likes to take a little bit more of a bladed stance to where he has those openings for his lead leg, whether it's a side kick or a low round kick. It also enables him to have way quicker feet and faster footwork on the outside. So he's a very hard guy to track down and hit clean to the head, which is why it's good to go to the body against him, but it's very hard to track him down, so it's hard to hit him in general, right? We know that on the ground he likes to take chances. He likes to go after leg locks. He likes to go after submissions. He'll shoot and take people down sometimes. It's not like he's afraid of it. It's just more so, I guess, his experience in MMA with the grappling that everyone's kind of questioning. He had that lackluster guard pull in the Francis Ngannou fight where he tried to drop back for a leg lock and lost positioning, subsequently kind of lost him the fight. So in the Jon Jones fight, they looked like Jon was just like kind of years ahead of him in the grappling department. Going against this fighter in Sergey Spivak, whom his style is to pressure people, to get people into the clinch and chain together both judo techniques with a kind of like a Greco-Roman style of wrestling, which is very, very efficient for MMA wrestling. He kind of likes to go to the katakatami and he likes to use those head and arm throws in order to get his opponents down. And then he'll even let you get back up just so he can sling you back down and kind of keep ragdolling you and fatiguing you until he can get you to settle down on the bottom and accept the finish, kind of, right? He likes to break his opponents with all his wrestling rather than trying to force anything early, which is very smart by Sergey Spivak. Now, one of the things that we've seen Spivak have trouble with is when guys throw punches in bunches. He tends to not really like to counter back in the pocket. It doesn't look like he's boxing or he's that familiar with boxing. It seems like he kind of tends to shell up and wait for his opponent to finish, and he likes to kind of take turns, and he won't really use that in-between timing to throw his strikes. He waits for you to finish, or he'll go right away, right, for his takedown or look to be first with his hands. Now, I think a good thing about this with Ciryl Gane is that a lot of times he's hard to hit, a lot of times he's hard to get a hold of, so it's hard to get in tight. And before I get into the way I think this one plays out, let's go into the keys to victory. So for Sergey Spivak, he needs to get this one into the clinch. That's where he's the best, in my opinion. He's really good on the ground, but the clinch is where he starts everything off, chaining together a bunch of Greco-Roman and judo style takedowns. So he needs to get this one into the clinch. He needs to grapple early. I think that's a very, very big component in this one, that he needs to start off with his game plan early. This is a 5-round fight, so it's better to start wearing Ciryl Gane down that way. If it does get into the later rounds, you're not having to deal with all that movement and all that quick footwork and elusiveness, right? So enter the clinch, grapple early, establish a jab. Sergey Spivak is at his worst when his back's against the cage. He does not have very good outside fighting. He's an inside fighter, which means he needs to establish that jab and make sure he is coming forward rather than getting backed up against the cage, because that's where we've seen him get finished with Walt Harris. That's where we see him kind of shell up and wait for his opponents to finish swinging. But if he could get into the clinch, then he's a lot safer, and if he can get into the ground, then that's where he wants to be. So those are the 3 keys to victory I have for Sergey Spivak in order for him to get the victory in this one. However, for Ciryl Gane and his keys to victory, one I say is that side kick to the knee. I think that's going to be most imperative. I think it'll be good for establishing the range. It'll be good for not letting Sergey understand his range, and it will make him less eager to come forward and try and initiate those clinch exchanges, right? Whether you're going to the knee or whether you're going to the body with that side kick. Ciryl Gane's very tricky and elusive with that side kick. Sometimes he'll just feint it to just keep moving and stay on the outside. So I think it's very important for him to establish that side kick. 2, he wants to be on the outside range, right? He doesn't want to spend too much time on the inside. Doesn't want to overextend it with too many punches. He already talked about in the Jon Jones fight that that's not what he wanted to do, and yet he still did it. He overextended with a punch. Jon slipped it, got into the clinch, got him to the ground. That was all she wrote, right? So don't overextend on any punches. Let Sergey Spivak kind of start coming to you, or throw out a lot of jabs, lead hands or lead legs in order to back Sergey Spivak up. And then 3, the last one that I think is imperative for Ciryl Gane to get this one done, is to not start fast and be wild, but to throw punches and bunches for sure, right? After he's established his range, after he understands where Sergey Spivak is going to be and his true intentions, he's going to have to throw punches and bunches, because Sergey, he likes to take turns with the exchanges. If you let him do that, he'll be able to set up his takedowns with strikes, and that's the last thing you want, right? So the idea behind throwing punches and bunches is to get Sergey's guard up and, I guess, be able to strike without him striking back or going for a takedown back on you. And that'll also open things up like the leg kicks or even side kicks to the body, the first key to victory, and will help him be able to pick Sergey Spivak apart on the feet. Now, how do I think this one is going to go? Oh, I gave you my keys to victory for each fighter. Which one do you think is more reasonable to happen? Who do you think is going to win? Let me know in the comments down below. But as far as who I have to win this fight, I'm taking Ciryl Gane. I think he's a very hard man to catch, right? Jon Jones was able to get him. Jon Jones was able to be so savvy, and first mistake Ciryl Gane made, Jon Jones capitalized on it, and that's why he's one of the greatest of all time, right? He's cool, collected, calm, and he's able to do it in the most pressureful situations. I don't think Sergey Spivak has that same cold-bloodedness, but I think he is still very good in the clinch and on the ground. His striking is very lackluster, so I don't think he'll be able to strike with Ciryl Gane. I think that it will be hard to track down and clinch up with Ciryl Gane in this fight, and I think that Ciryl will be able to pick him apart from the outside, avoid the clinch, or even if he gets into the clinch, Ciryl Gane does have a good clinch game. He'll be able to throw knees and disengage as he wishes. I think we're going to see Ciryl Gane getting a finish in this one. I don't think this goes all 5 rounds. Sergey is probably going to use a good amount of energy in the first 3 rounds, and I think that we could see a 2nd, 3rd, maybe 4th round finish in this one by Ciryl Gane. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Let me know who you're taking in this one. But with that being said, y'all stay safe, stay blessed. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.